We'll start in 3, 2, 1. All right, what's up, Video Fearless fam? Amani Channel here with a special interview and guest. I have Sue Pinky Benson, who some of you might know from the real estate world, but she also is a video expert, really sharp on her Facebook Live. And so I wanted to bring her in so she could share her knowledge with you all. So, hey, Sue, welcome.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here and be with my friend Amani. We get to hang out. I think we're hanging out more now because of Facebook than we have in years past, right?
I know, it's crazy. Yep. She was actually in Atlanta not too long ago, so we got to hang out there. She has her own video marketing group, so I kind of dabble in, tip my toes in her group, and I've been inviting her to ours, so we'll see if that happens. But yeah, so glad to have you here, Sue.
I am excited to be here and talk about what are we talking about? Facebook Live, right?
Exactly. So just I actually work with Sue. So me and Sue actually have ties back to the news world. She actually was a producer when I was a reporter. So why don't you share a little bit about your background in general before we get really into it?
Okay. So let's see. I got my gig out of college and was so excited to be in Tampa and being a producer for a reporter who was he was the confrontation reporter. So he was like the guy that went and, did the consumer investigations. We'd go in with the camera rolling over our shoulder. And that was quite the interesting way to get into news because it's completely different than any other part of like actual news, like what Amani did, covering a fire, covering a flood. Like ours was different. I believe, what's the term, Amani? Special projects is what
consumer investigative, was it? I think it was in consumer.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. And then it's a little different than your regular news. And then as time went by, I got my chance to start doing a little bit of on-camera work, which I was super excited about. It was scary, insanely scary when you first get in front of that camera. And I think what made it even worse for me was that then they start nitpicking you. They're like, oh, your voice needs to be deeper, or, you gotta like inflict here and not there. And it's like, it starts messing with your style too much if you let it happen, if you don't find your voice, because you do have to find your voice.
You do.
But, it's like, for me, one of my big examples always is they wanted me to change my last name, Phil, wanted me to change it to Susan Slayton instead of just Sue. And I've always been Sue, and I never did Susan. So it was really awkward for me to do that tag out of being, Susan Slayton. It just didn't roll off my tongue. So at any rate, I did whatever I was, a TV producer, reporter for quite a few years. And then I had some babies and decided that I was going to try that home thing, which was awesome. Loved it. But then I got the itch to do more, and I got into real estate. And few years into real estate, social media came around, and this whole idea of infusing video with social media was like, wow, like, hey, I could do both things because I got this like background in, broadcast journalism. I got a degree in it. I'm still paying student loans on it. Like, I better use it for something. So I kind of infused that with social media, and I was doing it before everybody else jumped on the bandwagon. So kind of figured it out as we rolled forward, and then Facebook Live comes along, and that was like, woohoo. So it's been a journey.
So let's start at the beginning. For someone who, you mentioned you had some anxiety, some fear when it comes to speaking on camera to start off with. So when it comes to Facebook Live is like its own little platform where you go live, friends can pop in or out. What's your advice for the novice who's completely green, not really sure what to do, how to prepare? What's the first thing they need to do if they're thinking about going live on Facebook?
Prepare. It seriously is. It's about being prepared, because if you're prepared, then you're not as nervous. If you know what you're going to talk about, you're not as nervous. You're nervous when you have a lack of control and a lack of knowledge, and in certain aspects of Facebook Live, you can't control things. The internet goes down, the lights turn off,
cell phones ring,
right? Amani,
telemarketers call.
There is your first tip for doing a Facebook Live. Always put your phone on Do Not Disturb before you start. There you go.
We do that now. My bad. I'm a professional, y'all. I really am.
But yeah, so I mean, I think the very first thing is to prepare, no matter what you're going to do. And just having a knowledge of what you're going to talk about and practicing a little bit before you get started is really going to give you more confidence when that camera comes on and you start going. And you need to realize, because we all have that little bit of narcissism in our brains that like everybody's watching us. People are not. They are not all watching us at all given moments of time. Like that one crazy stalker that you're worried about, they're probably watching, but whatever. But the rest of the world, more than likely, is not going to be tuning in to see your first broadcast. So don't put yourself so high up on the pedestal. You're not Oprah. You're not Gary Vee. They're not tuning in just to check you out, you know? So.
And that can kind of take a little bit of the pressure off, just not thinking, oh, the world's going to see me. If it's just one or two people, it's no harm, no foul.
Right, exactly. And people realize you got to practice, you know, and you do have to get better at it. But I think that one of the reasons why, besides the fact that I was one of the first people to start really using Facebook Live in my market, I think one of the other reasons was I always tried to give them value. Even if I was stumbling through, walking down the street, sweating my hiney off because it's the middle of July and I'm walking down Fifth Avenue in Naples, Florida, and it's friggin' hot. Even if all of those things are going on, if I'm talking and I'm giving them value and there's something in there that's interesting to them, they'll stay tuned in, and then they'll come back the next time when I realize that, hey, maybe I should do this inside where the air conditioning is and I'm not walking and I'm out of breath. So, you know, if you give them the value, they will come back.
Awesome. So I talked a little bit about practice. So is there a way to practice with Facebook Live? Is there a way you can actually practice your live streams before going live?
Oh yeah, I think practicing by adjusting your audience. So you go into your audience and you can adjust it so it's only me. So that means only you, not me as in me watching you, but only you as in you're the only one that's going to see it. Mm-hmm. So that's great for the functionality of like, okay, what happens when I hit live?
That's within your settings, and you can choose your settings for who your audience is.
Settings on your audience, you adjust it to only me. Okay, so nobody else is going to see it. It's only you. So then you hit the live button and you see what happens. And for example, like even between an iPhone and a Droid, there is a little bit of a difference in setup. Like when I take my husband's phone and try to do a live, there's a little bit of difference. So just practicing in the aspects of hitting the button, watching how it comes up. Okay, this is where I put my post, because you always want to put a post to get people in the news business. We call it a teaser. You tease them with the words so that they come in to watch the video. If you just put it up there live and nobody has any idea what the heck's going on, they're not likely to get engaged with your content. So always put up what you're going to talk about or tease them with something that they want to tune in to watch you. So it's a great way to stop and pause and go, okay, so this is where I put my post. It's a place where you can see where all the different filters are, because ladies, I know you're going to tell me you got bad hair, you got acne, you got bad clothes on, you know, whatever it is, you need to lose 20 pounds, whatever it is. I know you got some problems. I've been there. I got a ponytail because I got gray hair coming in. I'm holding off getting my hair done until next week. So at any rate, I know those issues very well. When you go in, you're doing a practice, you can see all the filters. And sometimes you can get a really nice filter that just gives heck, they have filters that just put lipstick on you and you'll look 20 times better. Like, so play with those and get yourself acclimated with what's going on when you press that button. And you just put it to only me. Now, let's suppose you do some amazing live video and it's so awesome. And you're like, I do want people to see it. Then you go back and you adjust that audience and just put it to public or to my friends or whatever. You know, and then slowly, like if there's a group, like Amani has his group, do the live within the group so you're in a safe setting. There is an expectation that video is to be part of the group, so you're not annoying people. You know, Facebook is kind of annoying. There's some nuances to it. There's constant posting. There's videos being thrown at us left, right, and sideways. So that's why I'm not a big like, hey, do a video every day for 30 days. Kind of thing, because you don't want to overwhelm your audience and watch you goof up 100 times. It's one thing if they see it once, you know, like for real, if you do one and you trip and you fall in the pool, please post that because you're going to get huge engagement. You know, like that's kind of the thing. Like when you make a really big mistake, own it and let the world see it. Yeah. But, you know, I think just making those little tiny practices. The other way that I practice, I use Instagram stories, Facebook stories to prep before I do my actual live. So if I'm doing a live and let's say I want to talk, I'll just do a real estate one, for example. I want to talk about the 5 reasons why you want to buy this property. Okay. I will do Instagram stories, which is all of like 15 seconds. So I will in 15 seconds, each 5 times go, okay, reason number 1, reason number 2, reason number 3. And I'm practicing and I'm articulating what I have to say in a timely way. and I'm looking at the camera and I'm making eye contact with the camera. Like I want to know where the camera is, right? I want to know where that camera is. And then when I go to do my Facebook Live, I've already practiced. I've already gone through this once. So I know the things that I want to say. So that's why I really like, and you're creating content for that Instagram story as well. So or Facebook story, whichever one. So you've got both angles going for you. And you're like, hey, I did all this work today, and you did it in one setting, you know?
Now, the advantage of Facebook, I guess, we'll talk about like the post like aspects. A lot of people are like, I don't like to edit. I don't know how to edit. And the benefit to me is that you do a Facebook Live, you share it, it's done. Like it takes all the editing. If you're just a novice who's scared of editing, like just do a Facebook Live, do an Instagram Live. Now you do have to go live. It's live as it is. Like you said, things can happen, but you don't have to worry about posting. I guess doing any posts to it.
Right. And there's definitely things you can do to make it better within that live. Like before we were on, we were talking about my background, making sure, things look good. You can do that. You can make sure that, you got good lighting, your audio's good, things like that, that even if it's not an edited video can still make a big difference when you're doing the live. So those are things that you want to take into consideration when you're starting to do a live. And that when you start practicing, you're going to realize that, like, as soon as I turn the camera on, Amani's like, what are you doing in the dark? Like, you just, oh, hey, I saw her. I saw Debbie. What's up?
She knew I was doing this too. Busting into my interview.
She just wanted to see me.
Just want to see what I was doing. Exactly.
And you roll with it because we all can relate to that. We all know that, like, hey, we're all working from home these days. We all have things that happen, and it's just part of what it is, and it makes us human, and it doesn't make us a commercial. And I think that's where a lot of people get hung up with the idea that they have to edit it because it needs to look like a commercial. Mm-hmm. And when you think it needs to look like a commercial, let me ask you a question. What do you do when you see a commercial?
Zip.
Right.
Change the station.
Change the station. You look at your phone. You get distracted. You have no interest in looking at a commercial. So why do you think you're going to produce some amazing commercial that everybody's going to watch?
So how do you, what does a person need to do to get over their perfection, like, whole concerns? Because people do think that they need to be perfect, right? And live can create a whole nother dynamic because not only is it impossible to be perfect, but anything you do, it's going to be there for everyone to see. What's the mindset you have to sort of put yourself into?
I really go with it. That's like a judging thing. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to judge you. And what I say to that is people are going to judge you regardless. Okay. They're going to judge you whether you put a picture on Instagram, whether you put a post on Facebook, and I see people all the time, oh, I don't want to do a video, but they're sharing all kinds of crazy political posts. And I'm going, you don't want to do a video because you're afraid that somebody's going to think something of you, and yet you're throwing a political post up there? Like, and that's where the disconnect is like you're being judged regardless. You're walking down the street. Let me tell you, I've traveled the country with crazy pink hair, and in Cleveland, I stick out like a sore thumb. In San Francisco, I blend in quite well. But my point being is I'm being judged regardless. You know what I mean? The people in Cleveland are like, what's this crazy girl? And the people in San Francisco is like, she's my kind of girl. So they're judging me no matter what. And that's what you gotta understand. That, and this is nothing new. Social media, as Gary Vee says, it's just exposing who we are already. And so this is nothing new. We humans been judging people for thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to get that mindset. And the other thing is, I think people sometimes really get themselves overwhelmed with one person. Maybe it's your mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm worried that my mama's going to watch this video and she's going to have something to say. You know what I mean? And if that's your fear, you have to locate it in your brain and go, okay, is my mama paying my bills still? Then maybe I don't want to, do that video. But if she's not paying my bills, then this is what I need to do to pay my bills. This is what I need to get exposure for my business to grow. So, and that's the same thing. Like, if it's that naysayer, that anti-person, anti-pinky person, you know what? They're not paying my bills. I got to do what I got to do that works for me to get me business.
Exactly. Very, very good point. So let's talk about posting on Facebook now. Is it better to post a live video from a group, from a page, or from your personal page? What profile should you use when you're going live?
That is a difficult question.
What do you think?
Okay, so I will tell you that I have built my entire brand on my personal page. Now, I did that over the last few years when Facebook Live first came out, and the algorithm is constantly in flux right now, especially on Facebook. Things have gotten really crazy. So they're really watching that. If you're getting on and you're like, car salesman Joe, and you're like, hey, I'm at the car lot, look at this car, da da da, you may not get really good engagement because Facebook's watching and they don't want that kind of stuff on your personal page. They'll be okay with it on your business page, but they don't want you to do it on your personal page. So I have gotten very creative with the way that I promote my business on my personal page. For example, if I'm doing a real estate open house and I want people to tune in, my general thing is, these are the E's of doing video. Okay, it's educate, entertain, and engage. So I always make sure that if I'm doing a video and it's on a house, like, okay, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, is there someone I could bring in to interview? Like, let's say there was a feng shui expert. I could bring her in and talk about how they could move the furniture a certain direction and talk about the statistics of feng shuiing your house and how it might help sell a home. I'm educating my audience, and I'm also entertaining them because they're going, she gonna move that piece of furniture? Like, seriously, right now? What if it falls on her? I like, and that's what you got to do, is you got to think ways of like how you can educate and entertain and then engage with them. Like, ask them, have you ever used feng shui? Did it work for you? Did it sell the house? Think of ways that you can educate and entertain on your personal page. Business pages are harder in general, especially in my field. And same thing with car salesmen, insurance reps, mortgage people. They have a hard time because it's not sexy. Nobody wants to go and follow, your gynecologist. It's just not something you want to do. You're not like, hey, let me see what she's up to today. So you've got to find a niche in your business that makes people want to come back for it. So like real estate, I always say, go for the foreclosures, go for the behind the scenes, the multi-million-dollar properties. But I got to tell you, there's a dentist. I absolutely adore her. I watch her. I think she's amazing. Why? She lip syncs with all of her patients. Like, makes me want to fly across the country just to go get my teeth cleaned by her. You know what I'm saying? She's engaged an idea. Like, we all hate the dentist. We don't want to go. It's not fun. And she's made a way to make it fun, to make you smile and remember her. So if you can find, if you become, the singing real estate agent of South Atlanta, you're probably going to have a bigger following. As long as even if you couldn't sing, you probably might have a following,
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to really work at what is going to get engagement and what is going to be interesting and what would you follow? What would you follow?
Okay, very good, very good. So you mentioned that I guess you don't encourage people to go like live for like 30 days. What would be a strong strategy in terms of how often you go live? And let's also talk, you made a good point because I watched one of your live streams recently. You said that if you don't have anything to say, don't go live, which is a great point, right? You don't want to go live just to go live.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I see. I see a lot of, and I get it because I'm one of those people. I get up and I do my presentations and I talk to people and I encourage them to go live. And what do? They walk out of the conference and they're like, I'm live. Nothing to say, Well, don't go live for live's sake. You want to go live because you have something that you want to share or show with your audience, And so that's really, really important. What I think you should do is set yourself up just like you would set yourself up to, you go to the gym every day at 6 a.m., right? Set your audience up for an expectation that you're going to be doing a live like for me, I did it every Friday at 1:00. Rain or shine, no matter what. I was in frickin' Ohio and I was doing a Pinky Nose Naples from Ohio. My husband's looking at me going, you're in Cleveland. Who cares?
But the people are tuning in. They want to see me, honey.
They want to see me in Cleveland. I came up with like 50 fun facts of Cleveland. Like, it was crazy. Like, did you know you're not supposed to go fishing for a whale in Lake Erie on Sundays? The rest of the week, you're fine.
Who would know?
Apparently Sundays, no whale fishing. But, I'm just saying, like, I dedicated myself to that every day at 1:00, or every Friday I was going to do it. So honestly, I think when you're first starting out and you're nervous and blah, 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 just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do it Friday at 1:00 or Thursday at noon or whatever it is, and make yourself do it every week. And then you'll start to adjust. Like now I don't do it every Friday at 1:00. I probably should have a more regimented situation. But as things have evolved with Pinky Nose Naples, it's like, okay, well, I'll pop on to do this and I'll pop on to do that. But I really think that it's better for a more set schedule as you're creating a following, you know, so that you set that expectation. My girlfriend, Katie Lance, social media mastermind, man, she doesn't do a live video. She does an actual video every week, 2 to 3 minutes on a social media tip. Every Wednesday it comes out. And I know Wednesday, when I realize, because, you know, it always takes me a little bit to realize what day of the week it is. I'm like, oh, it's Wednesday. That means Katie's got a new video. Like, you become accustomed to that idea that, oh, there's a new video coming. And once you get that following, that's where you can take it to the bank.
Gotcha. A lot of people want to know how to monetize Facebook Lives. Is that something that you teach as well?
Me too. Let me know. You know what? I don't think that I don't firmly believe in, like, I've had people come to me and say, oh, you should charge people for you to do a Pinky Nose Naples there. You know, oh, you start, they want me, oh, you're showcasing this restaurant. You should charge them blah, blah amount to come out and showcase their property, you know? And I get it. I understand that logic, but at the same time, you and I have been on the other side of that. And it's like, when you hand the control over to somebody else and because they're now paying you, so you're giving them a product. Now your live is going to become much more scrutinized. Now you're going to be having to be really perfect and if they don't like it, then you're going to have to take it down and you're going to have wasted your time. Mm-hmm. So, you know, for me, there's no money. You know, I don't want the money in that case. You know what I mean? It's really more about getting your brand out there, getting yourself known, having people respect you for what you do so that they want you to come to your business, and then they want to pay it forward. Oh, you know what? She did this for me. I'll do that for her. That, you know, it's a bartering kind of system, you know, and it's a way to showcase your life and your community. And you shouldn't be looking at it as like, oh, I need to make money. But if you do find some way to make money, let me know, because I might be interested.
Will do. All right. So let's talk about the tools real quick. There are different applications you can use to go live on Facebook. Why don't you dig into that a little bit and then we'll wrap it up.
As far as tools, I mean, mainly you have your phone. I mean, there's Facebook Creator. I played with it for a while. It was very clunky when I was using it. I think it may be a little bit better now. There is, my girlfriend was just telling me about a new one that's come out. It's like Facebook, something with a P, profile, something, Facebook, something, priority or something like that. So there's different things that you can use to enhance your video.
So I use Ecamm. That's what I use, Ecamm, to go live. So you can do overlays and add videos and kind of create a show. There's also one that people use for interviews, right? Which one do you use? Do you use the app for your interviews?
Not for my interviews. Like, if I'm in a group, if I'm doing an interview like this, I'll do Be Live. That's the one I use to
Be Live. Okay. What's Be Live?
It's like, just Google Be Live, and it's like, you get so many free, and then it's like $15 a month. So you have to be consistent, but it's more for interviews. Like, if I wanted to interview somebody at long distance, if I'm doing an interview in town, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, but I think just keeping it more simple. When you start adding a whole lot of graphics and a whole lot of this and that, people disengage, you know, like, they're just overwhelmed and they're like, what the heck are they talking about? My other big thing is, unless you're doing like something like this, where we're doing basically like a webinar where you're teaching something, don't go for the long haul. You know, like, go in, get your point across, you know, say hello to some people, you know, say who you are, say what you're doing, say hello to some people, get your point across, and then tag yourself out. Don't just sit there. You know, the lives I hate the most are the ones that are sitting there and they're like, so I'm just waiting for some people to show up. So, hey guys, just hang on a minute while everybody shows up, and they're like on their computer. I'm like, what are you doing? You're not some superstar that, you know, has this huge, you know. So if you're going to do like a webinar type thing, that's better for groups, you know, because that there is an expectation that they're there to learn something.
Right. Last question for you is what's the good length for a Facebook Live? I heard that 10 minutes is a good length because Facebook, the way the algorithm populates in your feed. Do you have a general rule of thumb when you're going live, or would you suggest for beginners?
I would say somewhere between 6 and 10 minutes. I know You know, I'm a
Okay.
big Gary Vaynerchuk fan. Gary says right around 6 minutes is your sweet spot, you know. Now, if you win the video lottery and you're getting like, you know, hundreds of viewers for some reason, and I've seen it happened to my girlfriend, yeah, you might want to continue on with whatever you're talking about because, but again, you don't want to go too long and then people get disenchanted with it or the topic or you or whatever. But I would say somewhere between 6 and 10 minutes. If you're doing an interview, it probably is going to go a little bit longer, maybe 12 to 15, but you really don't want to push it too long because people are not going to stay around that long. Um, and, you know, it's funny, but you've got to play with the positioning of your phone. For a long time, Facebook Live was awesome this way. Everything was horizontal. And now, because of IGTV and Facebook owns IGTV, we have now gone vertical. And it's difficult to do an interview vertically, get two people's faces into the phone. It's a little more challenging. But yeah, you want to play with it because you're going to, and I started doing everything vertically because Facebook likes it. When Facebook likes something, they push it up into the algorithm and you get more views. So those are little things that you can do to, you know, pay attention to those things. So if Facebook likes it vertical, do it vertical, you know. And then, you know, just don't just start sharing it all over the world to share it, you know, because you want the views to go up and you don't, you know, you really, it's really about getting those engagements, getting those people commenting, people organically wanting to share, not because you told them to share, but because they want to share because they found value in it. And then Facebook's going to reward you because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for organic content that people want to engage with. That's what makes something trending.
Hmm. Great tips. Anything in closing, Sue? Any other advice for folks that are just getting started on? Let's go back to the beginning actually, because you said you need to prepare. How do you prepare for like a 6 minute length video? Like how would you coach someone through beginning, middle, end, making sure you have enough content, making sure you have enough to talk about? So what would that look like for a person making a 6 to 10 minute video?
Okay, so you got to think about, okay, if you have 3 to 4 facts, okay, 3 to 4 facts that you can keep in your brain, because I feel like that's about as much as I can handle in a short span of time and still remember them relatively easy, right? So you have 3 or 4 facts. You come in, you do your intro. Hi, it's me, Pinky of Pinky Knows Naples. I'm so excited to be here today. I can't wait to showcase ABC Liquor Store. I don't know why I said that, but ABC Liquor Store. And I'm going to talk to John, the owner here today. If you've never watched one of my segments before, here's a little bit about me. I'm a local real estate agent. I love to showcase businesses. And today we're at ABC Liquor. Here's John. And John, tell us a little bit about yourself. And then you go into the interview. Then you bring up 3 fun facts that maybe you learned about John or ABC Liquor. And you say, hey, did you know this? Did you know, and then you kind of have a little conversation. It's going to fill in that gap. The thing that we always say, like, you've got to know to follow the interview. Okay. So if you get 3 facts and you can't get all 3 facts out because all of a sudden John goes into this amazing story about what happened during the Great Depression and how he lost everything, you got to follow that story. Okay. Like I'm going to go Golden Girls on you. All right. Can you handle it, Amani?
I can handle Golden
You
Girls.
ever watch Golden Girls?
I don't think I saw one episode, but I saw
Oh
promos.
my, okay.
I know Blanche.
So
There was a character named Blanche, right?
yeah, there was Blanche. Okay, so Rose is the Golden Girl. Okay, so everybody that's hopefully people have watched Golden Girls, but what happens is she's trying out to be a reporter on the news station, and they tell her, okay, Rose, you have to go to the dogs show. Okay, so she goes out to do this dog show, and she's supposed to find owners that look like their dogs. That's the whole segment is what she's supposed to do. So she comes back and she goes, I didn't get the job, and they go, what? How did you not get the job? And she's like, well, let me show you. She puts the VCR tape in. Oh God, that was a long time ago, right? Puts the VCR tape in, and here comes her segment. Well, what had happened that day was there was this big jewelry heist at the dog show. Well, what does Rose do but continue down the path of she went after the story she was supposed to get. She went for the dogs that look like their owners. She didn't get the story about the jewelry heist, right? Now that was the big breaking news story. That was her opportunity, but she followed the story that she was supposed to go after. So sometimes you have to adjust your sails. So if you're in the midst of a story and you've got to go in another direction, just do it. It's okay. But if you have those 3 facts, you do your intro and then you wrap it up, you know, and I think that that's the hardest part, is like wrapping it up, which is where we're at, wrapping it up. But you say, you know, hey, thanks for watching me. I'm so glad that you were able to join me. If you have any suggestions on other places I should visit in town, or if you have an idea for a future video, please reach out to me. You can find me at pinkyknowsnaples.com. And if you need any help in the real estate world, think pink and give me a call. You know, and that's how you have that outro. So you have your in, your out, and your 3 facts, and then it just kind of fills in. So you're going to build 6 minutes just by doing that.
That's awesome. Last question for you, Pink, because I know we got to wind down. How do you grow an audience? What's your advice for growing an audience for Facebook Live, with Facebook Live?
Growing your audience is a question, and it is getting harder and harder. One thing I do not suggest you do is just go out and get 5,000 friends. I see people just add friends, add friends, add friends. And in fact, I'm at the point where I get friend requests constantly all day long. If they don't message me and tell me how I know them, where I know them from, unless I actually know them, I don't accept them. Mm-hmm. And I want valuable viewers. I want people that want to engage with my content. So, you know, when you are engaging with that audience and growing that audience, you want to make sure that you're adding valuable people to your audience. The other thing is always engaging with them. Even if it's a post, even if it's not a video, if it's anything that you put up and people are taking the time to go on there and make a comment, please don't be snobby and ignore them. Go in and, go in and say, hey, thanks for so much. You know, I appreciate you, or how have you been? How is Atlanta? Start a conversation with them. I mean, I've spent a lot of time having conversations with people over the years that I didn't know that are now my friends because I started these conversations. So you really want to work on your engagement level. You don't want to ignore someone, you just want to get in there and just, it takes time. But the other thing you have to be is very self-aware and go back and look at your posts.
That's when narcissism can pay off, right? Go back and be a little critic. Be a little critic. Let that narcissism pay off.
It does. And here's one other little thing. I'm not I rarely, unless I'm editing a video, rarely do I ever go back and watch a Facebook Live that I've been in. Rarely. Because I can't change it. It's done. It's out there. It's done. Why do I need to? It's done. I don't go back and scrutinize myself. I don't go, oh my gosh, I hiccuped in the middle of that. I messed up that. If you do that, you're going to destroy yourself. That's my big thing. So don't over scrutinize yourself, and make sure you do go back though and see, am I getting engagement? Are people, and this is just across the board with anything you put on Facebook. Are you getting engagement? When you put up the post, when you share the donkey and the horse video, whatever, are people liking it? Are they commenting? Are they sharing it? Because if not, why are you wasting your valuable real estate space on Facebook with crappy posts? Are you contributing to the crap that's on Facebook, or are you making it a better content experience? And if you're in the business world, you're wanting to make a better content experience is what you should be after. So always go back and scrutinize yourself. Go back through the last 5 posts that you put up and say which ones did well. And if something didn't do well, take it off, hide it. If it's not relevant any longer, take it out of your timeline. Don't have it there. I view my Facebook page as my website. So when you, Amani, come over to my page and look me up, it's clear, it's pretty, you can see what I'm about, and there's no I've been tagged 99 times in this and tagged, and it's all kind of weird stuff, Be very clean and precise with you. It's all about being intentional. That's what makes a good Facebook Live promoter, marketer, whatever you want. It's being intentional. It's not just throwing it up there to see what sticks.
Awesome. So how can people find you and connect with you if they want to reach you, Pinky?
Oh, if they want to connect with me, well, they can find me on Facebook. It's Sue Pinky Benson. Again, you have to message me and let me know. If you can follow me, though. That everything I do is public, so I don't hide anything. The other way is Pinky Knows Naples is my community page, and on Instagram, it's Pinky Knows, like nose in your head, not nose on your face, Knows Naples. I get that a lot. Like, people are like, nose, like N-O-S-E. I'm like, that would make sense.
No, nose. That's not it. And you have a Facebook group too, so share your Facebook group. Your
Oh, my Facebook group is video and social media for small businesses. So I'm sure if Amani puts this up, he can throw a link up there for it. You're more than welcome to join that too. But however you want to get out, get to me, you can. PinkyKnowsNaples.com. I'm easy to find. Just Google it.
awesome. Well, you have a great rest of your day, great rest of your evening, wherever, whenever you see this. Just have a great time, Pinky. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you around.